Aryal stared at him as if he were a lunatic. "Well, I didn't know what you'd done, did I? You're a dangerous man. You proved that when you became a Sentinel. I knew that you did something, but I didn't know you did just that." She threw out her hands as she spoke, making a throwaway gesture. "I can't believe I wasted all that investigation time on a petty thief." He was airborne before she had finished speaking the last words. In one giant leap, he was on her, his hands fastened around her throat again. The flying tackle knocked her flat on her back on a snowy patch of pavement. He sprawled on top of her, instinctively shifting so that he trapped her with the weight of his body. He had never felt this way before, about anything or anyone. Someone was growling. Belatedly, he realized that someone was him. He pounded her head on the pavement. "All that time! All that time!" He was vaguely aware that she had grabbed him by the throat, too, the tips of her talons poised at his jugular. He should probably care about that. She said in a choked voice, "In retrospect, we should have talked about this while I still had you pinned." "You would make a pacifist saint homicidal," he panted. She burst out laughing. He was strangling her, and she laughed. Incredulity wormed its way into his rage-soaked brain. He stared down at her. Her angular face was suffused with color, those stormy gray eyes dancing. Her black hair spread out in a sulphurous fan, gleaming dark against the white snow. She didn't care that his tightening fingers cut off her air supply any more than he cared that her hand was poised to tear out his throat. His gaze focused on her mouth. She had a kind of strong femininity that was completely unlike the bright artifice and colors that so many modern women employed. No makeup, no jewelry, no fancy stuff done to her hair, and no floaty, flouncy clothes. Nothing about her looks took after conventional beauty, but her mouth was exquisitely formed, the bold lines of her lips softened by generous, curving flesh. "We all recognize something of our own wildness in you." Who had said that? Grim, her lover. "You and Grim can't be mates," he growled. "Someone would have said something if you were." She would have been much more stressed at the thought of a month's banishment from New York. Mates did not thrive well without each other. If anything, she laughed harder. "You're still an idiot." He had to do something to shut her up, or he really was going to kill her. The pure, hot flame of his fury shifted. The extreme emotion had torn him wide open, and a maelstrom of sexual aggression screamed in. The muscles in his body felt paper-thin, barely able to contain the emotion. Shifting his hands to fist them in the thick, silken hair at the back of her head, he lunged down to conquer her reckless, anarchistic mouth.